Porygon Z's got a nice little gimmick to it. It sets up so that its ability analytic does some work, but at the same time it's not going to boost its stats at all, so it's really not that hard. Now the main weakness we're going to be exploiting is the fact that it cleans itself at 95% time, and then that's the only time it cleans itself. So all of our builds are going to be debuffing one of its defenses very early. 75% HP, there's a small chance that you'll get hit with a Thunder Wave. It's a 20% chance. So I would allocate a heal cheer for all of these builds, just in case you get hit with that Thunder Wave. At 40% time, it's going to reduce your Tera Orb Charge, shouldn't be a problem. At 50% HP, it's going to use Trick Room. Now, up until this point, Porygon Z will be using Agility, and it'll get to the point where it's faster than everything. And then at 50% HP, when it uses Trick Room, it's going to reverse that so that everything is faster than it. Now, its ability, Analytic, works in such a way that if it moves last, it gets an automatic 30% boost in its damage. Okay, so all of my damage calculations do take Analytic into account, and Analytic is going to be active when Trick Room is up, and that's going to be, what is it, 5 turns? It's going to be up for 5 turns. So for 5 turns, you're going to be taking 30% extra damage. But for all of these builds, your setup will be finished by the time you get in there, except for the Lucario, but that's just because I was up against resisted damage. Before I go into the more interesting builds that you may not have built, anyone who's obsessed with raiding will already have these 3 Pokemon built. So if you're no nonsense, you just want to use the Pokemon that's best, it's probably one of these. Okay, Flutter Mane might be better, but yeah, just apply what we did with the other Pokemon to these builds, and these will work fine too. Now on to the more interesting builds that you may not have built. Flutter Mane, a lot of people have built. It must be Stellar type so that you are immune to Tri-Attack. If you're not Stellar type, then my damage calculations will not apply to you, because the most damage that we're going to take are in the middle of the raid when Trick Room's up and Porygon Z is getting an Analytic boost, so we need that Ghost typing here. The 2 things that these Pokemon have in common that make them work so well is, 1, they all have a Covert Cloak, 2, they all have a draining move. Lucario's typing is what makes it useful here, and Venomoth's typing and stats don't really give it a lot, but it's its moves that it's going to allow it to survive here. It is going to be the safest thing to use here, aside from maybe those boring builds I posted in the beginning of the video, but you're going to use Calm Mind on turn 1, then you're just going to spam your 3 fake tears. Once you got it to -6, it's pretty much over. Just spam Draining Kiss, Terastallize, Turbo spam Draining Kiss until you win. If you want, you can use an attack cheer to get through the shield a little bit faster, but it's not necessary, and you do want to allocate a heal cheer for that Thunder Wave just in case you get hit by it. It's really that simple. Venomoth's turn order is almost exactly the same as Flutter Mane's, but Venomoth is not quite as tanky as Flutter Mane's. So the main difference is, on turn 1, we're going to use Quiver Dance, which does the same thing as Calm Mind pretty much. The speed boost is not going to help us. And then turn 2, we're going to use Struggle Bug. You just make sure this is after the 95% time self-cleanse done by Porygon Z, otherwise that drop in special attack is going to go poof. Okay, so you may have to wait just a second. You probably won't, but anyways, turn 1, Quiver Dance. Turn 2, Struggle Bug. Now you're taking significantly less damage. Now you're going to get your Acid Sprays, okay? You want to land all 3 Acid Sprays because these cleans are going to last the entire raid. Once you're there, go ahead and use spam Giga Drain until you can Terastallize, then Terastallize as soon as you can, and then just go right back to spamming Giga Drain until it's over. You can go ahead and use the turbo button here. Easy. Use attack cheer to get through the shield faster. Allocate a heal cheer just in case you get hit with that Thunder Wave, and it's that simple. Now Lucario is going to be pretty simple. First step, you're going to wait till 95% time. At this point, Porygon Z is going to clean itself of its stats. At that point, you're going to start spamming Screech until you land 3 of them. Then you're going to spam Drain Punch until you can Terastallize, then Terastallize, continue spamming Drain Punch, and then you're going to have an option. At 45% HP, Porygon Z is going to clean the player. You can use a Swords Dance or 2 at this point, but with neutral damage, that's probably going to be unnecessary. In the uncut raid and in the footage, I used 2 Swords Dances because I was up against the flying type, so I needed the extra damage. But again, with neutral damage, you probably will need that. One more note, the most damage that you are going to be taking in this raid is going to be from the Discharge. Now, I don't recommend using this against Electric Tera type Porygon Z because you're going to be taking too much damage. With the Analytic boost, you'll be looking at 59.5% from a modest Porygon Z with a critical hit. So yeah, just make sure tier, you save your heal tier just in case you get hit with that Thunder Wave, and the attack tier won't be necessary. If you want more details about how to beat this raid, then go ahead and click on this uncut video right here of me using all of the builds we just talked about. But aside from that, I'm out.